Now we're going to look at big data. Now, data is crucial for making all kinds of decisions. So data refers to stored information and recorded operations which were performed by the computer in various forms. Big data is the same data, but present in massive amounts and numbers. This consists of information provided by both humans and their devices. Big data is so large and complex in size and storage that it is unable to be deciphered and understood efficiently by traditional data management tools. So big data has changed the way we manage, analyze, and leverage data across industries. And one of the most notable areas where data analytics is making big changes is in healthcare. In fact, healthcare analytics has the potential to reduce the cost of treatment. It can predict outbreaks of epidemics. I mean, given what has happened to COVID-19, unfortunately, we will be experiencing future epidemics and pandemics. That's inevitable. Avoid preventable diseases and improve the quality of life in general. The average human lifespan is increasing across the global population, which poses new challenges to today's treatment delivery methods. So health professionals, just like business entrepreneurs, are capable of collecting massive amounts of data and to look for the best ways to use these numbers. So now we're going to look at the education impact of big data in these areas. I'll just go through the list one by one. I'll just go through the list and then we'll go into each area in detail. So you have cancer cure research, developing new therapies and innovations, electronic health records, enhancing patient engagement, medical imaging, real-time alerting. I'm very passionate about mental health. So number 7, suicide and self-harm prevention. And lastly, supply chain management improvements. So let's look at cancer cure research and how big data has impacted this area. So an interesting example of the use of big data is the Cancer Moonshot program. So those of you who are interested in cancer cure research, it's the Cancer Moonshot program, MOONSHOT. Before the end of his second term, President Obama came up with this program, but that had the goal of accomplishing 10 years worth of progress towards curing cancer in half that time. So medical researchers can use large amounts of data on treatment plans and recovery rates of cancer patients in order to find trends and treatments that have the highest rates of success in the real world. For example, researchers can examine tumor samples in biobanks that are linked up with patient treatment records. And using this data, researchers can see things like how certain mutations in cancer proteins interact with different treatments and find trends that will lead to better patient outcomes. And this data can also have unexpected benefits. For example, they found that desipramine, which is an antidepressant, has the ability to help cure certain types of lung cancer. However, in order to make these kinds of insights more available, patient databases from different institutions, such as hospitals, universities, and nonprofits need to be linked up. Then researchers could access patient biopsy reports from these different institutions. Number 2, developing new therapies and innovations. Big data analysis in healthcare has the power to assist in new therapy and innovative drug discoveries. So they use a mix of historical, real-time, and predictive metrics, as well as a cohesive mix of data visualization techniques. These healthcare experts can then identify potential strengths and weaknesses in trials or processes. Moreover, through data-driven genetic information analysis, as well as reactionary predictions in patients, big data analytics in healthcare can play a pivotal role in the development of groundbreaking new drugs and forward-thinking therapies. Number 3, electronic health records. Goodbye paper saving trees. This is the most widespread application of big data in medicine. Every patient has his own digital record, which includes demographics, medical history, allergies, laboratory tests. And these records are shared via secure information systems and are available for providers from both the public and private sectors. And every patient record is comprised of one modifiable file, which means that doctors can implement changes over time with no paperwork and no danger of data replication. And these electronic health records can also trigger warnings and reminders when a patient should get a new laboratory test or track prescriptions to see if a patient has been following doctor orders. And although EHR is a great idea, many countries still struggle to fully implement them. The USA has made a major leap with 94% of hospitals adopting EHRs, and this is according to high-tech research. A company known as Kaiser Permanente is leading the way in the US. They have fully implemented a system called Health Connect that shares data across all of their facilities and makes it easier to use EHRs. Number 4, enhancing patient engagement. So many consumers and potential patients already have an interest in smart devices. And some of you may already have been using these smart devices. They record every step that you take. It records your heart rate, your sleeping habits, and so on. And all this vital information can be joined with other trackable data to identify potential health risks. So, for example, if somebody suffers from chronic insomnia and an elevated heart rate, this can signal a risk for future heart diseases. And this is great because patients, not just patients, but consumers, such as ourselves, we are all directly involved in the monitoring of our own health. So there are other new wearables under development that also track specific health trends and relay them to the cloud, where doctors can monitor them. So patients suffering from asthma or blood pressure could benefit from this. It increases their independence and reduces unnecessary visits to the doctor. Number 5, medical imaging is vital, and each year in the US, about 600 million imaging procedures are performed. Analyzing and storing these images manually is expensive, both in terms of time and money, as radiologists need to examine each image individually, and hospitals need to store them for up to several years. Medical imaging provider Carestream explains how big data analytics for healthcare could change the way images are read. So algorithms developed analyzing hundreds and thousands of images could identify specific patterns in the pixels and convert it into a number to help the physician with the diagnoses. They even go further, saying that it could be possible that radiologists will no longer need to look at the images, but instead analyze the outcomes of the algorithms. So this would greatly impact the role of radiologists, their education, and the required skill set. Number 6, real-time alerting. So another example of data analytics in healthcare shares one crucial functionality, real-time alerting. So in hospitals, clinical decision support, CDS software, analyzes the medical data on the spot and provides health practitioners with advice as they make prescriptive decisions for patients. However, doctors want patients to stay away from hospitals to avoid costly in-house treatments. So analytics, already trending as one of the business intelligence buzzwords in 2019, can be part of this new strategy. Wearable devices will continuously collect patients' data and send the data to the cloud. Institutions and hospital care managers can use sophisticated tools to monitor this massive data stream and react every time the results show disturbing outcomes. So for example, if a patient's blood pressure increases alarmingly, the system will send an alert in real time to the doctor, who will then take action to reach out to the patient and administer measures to lower the blood pressure. Number 7, suicide and self-harm prevention. Now, globally, almost 800,000 people die from suicide every year. Plus, 17% of the world's population will self-harm during their lifetime. And this is the area of mental health is a very difficult area to tackle. However, big data users in healthcare are helping to make a positive change concerning suicide and self-harm. As entities that see a wealth of patients every single day, healthcare institutions can use data analysis to identify individuals that might be likely to harm themselves. So in a 2018 study from KP and the Mental Health Research Network, a mixture of electronic health records data and a standard depression questionnaire identified individuals who had a higher risk of attempting suicide with great accuracy. So utilizing a predictive algorithm, the team found that suicide attempts and successes were 200 times more likely among the top 1% of patients that were flagged according to specific data sets. So this essential use of big data in the healthcare industry is testament that medical analytics saves lives. And lastly, for this section, we have supply chain management improvements. So if a medical institution's supply chain is weakened, everything else is likely to suffer, from patient care and treatment to long-term finances and beyond. That said, use of big data in healthcare focuses on the value of analytics to keep the supply chain fluent and efficient from end to end. Leveraging analytic tools to track the supply chain performance metrics and make accurate data-driven decisions concerning operations as well as spending can save hospitals up to $10 million per year. Now, you have an interest in big data and healthcare. Where do you get started? So these are some resources that we hope that you will enjoy and have a look at. Applied Data Science with Python Specialization, offered by University of Michigan on Coursera. Big Data Specialization by UCSD on edX. Data Science Specialization, Johns Hopkins University on Coursera. Introduction to Big Data, also offered by University of California, San Diego on Coursera. An Introduction to Data Science offered by Metis. These are some additional learning materials, benefits and challenges of big data in healthcare, an overview of the European initiatives by National Center for Biotechnology Information. Big Data Tutorial for Beginners by Edureka. Big Data and Healthcare, Management, Analysis, and Future Prospects by Springer Open. The Role of Big Data in Medicine, McKinsey and Company, and How Big Data Can Make Big Impact. Findings from a systematic review and a longitudinal case study by ResearchGate. And that's the end of our section for Big Data, which means it is poll time. So I've just launched a poll. Do you think understanding big data is important? And number 2, I'm curious to know how many of you would like to learn computer programming to analyze big data. That's wonderful. Almost half of you have already participated. So I am just going to end the poll now. The results are extremely promising. Yes, you think that big data is important. That is a unanimous yes, 100%. And this is very exciting as well because all of you would like to learn computer programming to analyze big data. And now we are going